Hello, and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. So let's get into it. Today I will be doing a recap of Next Gen NYC Season 1, Episode 8, Gutter Balls and Breakup Calls. And this is the season finale. So let's get into it. So the next morning, after the whole scene with Riley and Georgia, Ariana woke up feeling like a shitty friend because she didn't have Riley's back. Riley was right when she told Ariana to have her back in public and talk to her in private. So Ariana just met these people and she's known Riley since they were like 8, 9, 10 years old, and they were besties at that. So Riley was right about the fact that she should have had her back, okay? Because, she just met these people. So at breakfast, the group hashes out what happened the night before with Riley in Georgia. Everyone pretty much gave their feedback, and the majority felt like they all owed Riley an apology. Because when she decided not to speak, everyone kept telling her to say it. Hey, Sharon Godball, thank you so much for being here. So everybody kept telling her to say it, say it. So she said it. And then everyone turned on her. And that's exactly how I saw it. So in my opinion, she's probably already feeling uneasy because she's the only black person in the room and everybody deciding to turn on her just took it to another level. So if I were Riley, I would still hang out with this group of people in town, but they probably could never get me to go out of town with them again. Period. So it totally sucks when stuff goes down when you're out of town and you can't just call an Uber to take you home. That is a horrible feeling. Okay. And I wanted to ask you guys, have you guys seen Riley film in her actual apartment? Because as I was watching this episode, I was like, wait a minute. Think I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't ever remember seeing Riley doing a scene in her own apartment. Hey, IPV ADDT, thank you so much for being here. So correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not sure what's up with that. So while they were at breakfast, a flock of birds came in and they were all afraid that the birds will poop on their head. So that kind of like ended the conversation. And I'm glad it did because, Gia, the person who don't like Riley, probably would have continued to pick Riley apart. And Sharon said, this is not the right group for Riley, and I never would go to the Jersey Shore with them again. So I'm glad you said that, Sharon, because while I'm watching the episode, I'm taking notes or whatever the case may be. And as the episode goes on, Riley said exactly what I was thinking. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But when the birds came around, that was kind of like a sign to get the heck out of that house. So they started cleaning up and packing up to leave. But what was funny to me is that Georgia was able to sit down and have a chill conversation with Charlie, even though before they came on this birthday trip, everybody had plans to call out Charlie for what he said to Georgia. Remember when he said, if you were a guy, I would slap you? I mean, and he said some other awful things, but now all of a sudden she's forgotten about all of that, you know, and she's cool with Charlie again, as if none of that happened. And my thing is, why does Charlie always get a pass? Like, they really dragged Riley in these last couple of episodes. And Charlie's looking like the good guy when everybody agreed that they were going to wait until after Brooke's birthday and they were going to call him out. That never happened. So apparently, Riley feels the same way I do, that they do better in New York because every time they cross that state line, everyone gets crazy. So it's good to know that Riley said that maybe she should never go to Jersey again because if I were Riley, like I would not do any road trips, any trips period with this group of people. So let me get this straight. Georgia was pissed because Sky, and I think that's his name, not Riley, brought up the word privilege, but she had Omar to send her and Charlie a second car. So they got out of the car with the rest of the group. And I think they were a little annoyed because they stopped by a gas station to get some snacks or something like that. And they were just so ready to get home. So Georgia called Omar and he sent them a car. That sounds like privilege to me, but I could be wrong. Like, make it make sense. She had all of that smoke for Riley, but none for the guy that told her, that if she was a guy, he would slap her. So at this point, I would definitely only do Georgia in a group setting, and I would just keep it like that. Because at the end of the day, Riley went to the hotel with Georgia where she was, so that she didn't have to feel alone because she was feeling some kind of way, about the night before. So Riley was the only person that stood up and went to join her at her hotel. But you know what I was thinking? And Sharon said, we know why Charlie gets a pass. Why do you think he gets a pass, Sharon? But like, what a way to repay Riley for being there for you. But I was thinking that low key, maybe Georgia felt some kind of way because Riley forgot her clothes. And I think we talked about this the last time I covered episode 7 because it really wasn't clear whether Riley brought the clothes or not, but somebody pointed it out that Riley forgot her clothes and she had to wear a robe when she went to meet up with the rest of the group. So maybe she felt some kind of way about that. Like, honestly, I would have felt some way about that. But if you got the money to pay for a hotel, your boyfriend is sending you cars before she met up with the group, why didn't she go back to the house to get her clothes? Like, I don't know. So Amara spilled all the tea he when it comes to Omar. And she basically said when they were in the car that Omar is a scammer. And she basically said, you can Google him, he's a scammer. So this was something apparently nobody knew about Omar. So as smart as Georgia is, and she does come off as being very smart, very business savvy, all of that. Like, why didn't she do her homework about this guy, Omar? So if I were Georgia, I wouldn't even want my name associated with Omar. But I'm assuming that she still doesn't know at this point that her boyfriend is a scammer. And, she's thinking about going into business with him. He's going to invest in her and all this, all these things. But she doesn't know that he's a scammer. And Sharon said, in my opinion, because of his color, to me, he's deplorable and a user. Okay, got it. And he's a spoiled rich kid, on top of what you've already said. So Riley really took me out when she said when Georgia and Charlie were walking away to get in the car that Omar sent for them. Riley said, how can Georgia have on a bathing suit for that long? That has to be affecting her cooch. Like, she really took me out. And there's something about Georgia. It's just like Georgia can get to the bag. She's, like I said, she's very business minded and business savvy. But the way she dresses and her appearance, it just gives trailer park trash. And no offense, but girl, like you do the least when it comes to your appearance. It's probably like she takes 5 minutes to get dressed. She makes no effort, no makeup. Her hair is always plain. Her outfits are always plain. Like, she just looks a mess. Hey, Mama Bees, thank you so much for being here. And Sharon said that was funny. Yes, and everybody agreed, like this girl had on that bathing suit for way too long. Maybe she felt some kind of way because maybe she bought it. Because honestly, that bathing suit was the nicest I've ever seen her dress. So maybe she did get a new outfit for the trip, this bathing suit, and maybe she just wanted to show it off because she never got a chance to wear it. So she decided just to keep it on, even though they weren't anywhere near any water. So that was just kind of nasty for me, Georgia, in that bathing suit. So Charlie is moving into a luxury apartment because we found out that his friend decided to move out. So now, I'm assuming that his dad is helping him to pay for this luxury apartment. I guess that's the privilege, that they speak of. So I will say this: big ups to Omar for calling Charlie out for disrespecting his girl. He met up with Charlie at some really cool restaurant, and he had a conversation about what Charlie said to Georgia. Now, for most people, I think it would have been on site. Like I couldn't do a whole trip with you and then after the trip meet up with you to call you out on, what you said about my girl. Like it would have had to happen on site, but whatever. I guess it's better late than never. And Sharon said, well, she got her money's worth out of that outfit. Okay. And again, that's probably the nicest thing I've ever seen her, wear. So at this little meetup with Charlie and Omar, Charlie was more excited than anything. It was like he found a new best friend. Like it seemed like him and Omar had so much, in common that he forgot all about the fact that the reason why he wanted to meet with you, Charlie, is because he wanted to call you out for disrespecting his girl. But, you know, Charlie gained a new respect for Omar, and he had a great time hanging out with Omar. So when it comes to Georgia's Club Trial Run event, the only thing that stood out to me at the Club Trial Run was what Georgia was wearing, because again, she puts very little effort into her appearance. And what she had on when she was supposed to be hosting this event, it was horrible. Like there was nothing nice about that whole look. Her hair was a mess, no makeup. She had on a simple white shirt, and I believe it was some white long shorts. I mean, it really looked like something that she would just wear around the house. Nothing that she should have actually walked out of her front door in. It was horrible. And then they ended up meeting, I think, at another place before they actually went to the club. And Ava showed up with her new man. And that was the other thing that stuck out to me because her man looked like a complete weirdo. But I'm not surprised though, because honestly, I think Ava has a crush on Charlie. And I think low key, Charlie has a crush on Ava because he kept calling Ava, asking her if she was coming. Like he's always bringing up Ava. But obviously, they don't want to admit that they have a crush on each other. So she might have invited her boyfriend to make Charlie jealous. That's just a thought. But on a positive note, I commend Georgia for being young, ambitious, and chasing her dreams because you should never let anyone kill your dreams. Yes, you will run into roadblocks. Just dust yourself off and try again because we all know that Georgia is going to run into some roadblocks. And Sharon said, yes, I believe they both have a crush on each other. Okay, that's good to know, Sharon, because I thought it was just me. I picked up on it immediately that, and to be honest, I think it's more so Ava than Charlie because when Charlie has a thing, he'll kind of say it. I mean, he did take Brooke's sister out on a date, and he did say that he thought Ariana was fine, or whatever he said to let us know that he thought Ariana was hot. So I think Ava has the bigger crush on Charlie because I think if it was more so Charlie than Ava, Charlie probably would have already tried to push up on Ava. And not saying that he hasn't done it behind the scene, but we never seen it. And then I was also thinking that some of these people are probably jealous because Georgia's visions are so big and far beyond anything that they can comprehend at this stage in their life because these people are very young. Okay, I think Riley's only 21, and I'm not saying Riley's jealous. The main person who I think could be jealous is Ariana because remember, Ariana is supposed to be starting a fashion brand and she's been talking about it since the beginning of the show for quite some time. And Georgia pitched her idea to her friends and she has already put together a trial run in what seems like 2 weeks. And what makes me feel like it was probably around a week or two is the fact that they're still talking about Brooke's birthday trip. So it had to happen pretty quickly, in my opinion. So they did a collage of events that happened to wrap up this season and kind of show what everybody was up to, like, over the seasons or whatever the case may be. So it looks like Brooke is no longer working for his mom because we seen during this episode that he decided to go off on his own and to quit leaning on his mom. So his dad wanted to invest in him. So I'm thinking that's the route he took. And I love the relationship that Charlie has with his mom. And, even though he feel that it's the right time to just cut the cord, he's still very emotional because for whatever reason, he thinks that him going off on his own and no longer working for his mom is going to change the dynamic of their relationship. But honestly, I'm pretty sure that his mom really wanted to give him a chance. And not that he's not good at what he does, because when him and his boyfriend put together that presentation, I was so impressed. I was honestly impressed. So I really do believe that Brooke has some skills, but I'm pretty sure she won't have any problem replacing Brooke with somebody who's older, more experienced in everything. So I think it was a good decision. So everyone who is in a relationship, it seems like they're thriving in their relationships. Um, Brooke, Amira, Ariana, even though she always calls her boyfriend a jerk and he lets it slide, I think that's disrespectful, but it's in a playful way. So the only people that are having issues in their relationship, come to find out, is Georgia and Omar. So Apparently, they were either on an extended trip or they were living in Singapore. And they got into some type of disagreement, verbal altercation, and he kicked her out and cut her off financially. Hey, Paula, thank you so much for being here. So I was very shocked to hear that. But then again, I don't think she really knew him. So it's really not that surprising that, you know, he would start to show signs that he's not the person that Georgia thinks he is. So apparently, like I said, he kicked her out and cut her off financially and sent her belongings back to New York, and her belongings made it back to New York before she did. Like, wow, wow, wow. To me, that said that Omar was done. Okay. Like, he was done with Georgia because, first of all, not saying that Omar doesn't have a legitimate business, because Charlie did say that he was working on a business plan and he was helping him to find investors for his new business. And I'm thinking to myself, he was supposed to be the investor for Georgia's business. So why is it that now he's looking for people to invest in his business? It sounds to me like he wanted to cut Georgia out and he was going to focus on himself instead of Georgia. Now, it would have been better if they could have came together with their ideas, because again, I think Georgia is very business savvy, and I think they could have been a great team together. But apparently, living with Georgia was different from being her boyfriend or just dating Georgia. So now Georgia finds herself crashing with Charlie, and now it's looking like Charlie is her lifeline. Imagine that. Charlie being your lifeline. So that's pretty much how this episode ended, and that's a wrap. You know, I never would have thought that Charlie and Georgia would have come back together and end up being roommates. So when Amara was speaking of putting something on social media, I don't really know what she was referring to. Maybe you guys can fill me in. What do you think that Amira put on social media? Do you think she was blasting Georgia about her relationship with Omar and the fact that they broke up? Or was she putting it out there that Omar is a scammer? So they kind of left that open, and maybe that's how the next season, that's going to be the start of next season. But they left me with a lot of questions because I didn't get that whole thing where everybody was talking about the fact that Amira put something on social media. So I wish they would not have left all of those open ended questions, but that's what they did. So that was the season finale of Next Gen NYC. Drop down in the comments and tell me, how would you rate season one of Next Gen NYC? Did you enjoy it? Do you plan to watch the next season? Like, what did you think about it? And Sharon said, that's why you have to be careful what you say to and about people. You never know who you might need. Hmm, absolutely. And to be honest, think Georgia and Charlie are more alike than they're not, because Charlie's the same way. Like, he doesn't really care that much about his appearance. He's just very relaxed, laid back, you know, like if you were to see Charlie out in public, you would probably think that he was broke just because of his appearance. So, maybe they have a lot in common, especially because even though Charlie looks like a lazy bum, his dad obviously sees something in Charlie to make him keep investing in Charlie. So I think that Charlie is also smart, and when it comes to business, he's very savvy, which is why him and Omar got along so well. So yeah, I think Georgia and Charlie are two peas in a pod. So hopefully that works out for them being roommates. But honestly, if a dude had a problem with living with Charlie, it's going to be worse being a woman, being a roommate with somebody like Charlie. Because first of all, he's filthy, but maybe Georgia is too. And then Georgia is very, how would I say this? She's very organized. So the same issues that his previous roommate had, I'm pretty sure she's going to have the same issues. Like the fact that he couldn't get anything done because Charlie always wanted to go out. And you can't really get much done if you're coming in at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So he's probably going to slow Georgia down when it comes to her with all of her business ventures and things like that. And Sharon says, I'll watch it again. I give it an 8 out of 10, but with different people. Okay. So the four people that I have on my thumbnail, to me, they are the stars of the show. Charlie, Brooks, I love, love, love Brooks. Brooks talks so slow, but I love the little scenes that they show him, like in his own head. Like, I love me some Brooks. And of course, Riley and Ariana. And Mama B says, I enjoyed it. I just didn't like how some of them treated Riley. I wish they add some additional black folks to the show. I agree. I agree. So hopefully they'll do some digging because I'm sure some of these other housewives have some kids that might be grown that, they can add to the show. Or maybe Riley will bring in some of her own friends because I'm pretty sure she'll meet more black friends in New York as time go on. And Mama B says in one of the previous episodes, Georgia said she had lived with Charlie. Oh, so she had lived with him before he was roommates with the other guy, Mama B. So I gave this episode probably an 8 out of 10 as well. I enjoyed it. I think it's a very cool concept. And Bravo just opened up the door to other possibilities. And, now they don't have to depend so heavily on the Real Housewives because now they have this show where, they can actually put some of their kids in the spotlight. So I love the whole concept and I'm looking forward to see where Bravo goes with this. So I will definitely be watching season 2. Plus, I want to support Riley. Riley is, I think Candy did a very good job of raising her. So I just really want to see her grow up, watch her grow, and just see what she decides to do for a career. I know she's kind of lost right now. She's thinking about being a DJ. The only thing I have to say about that is I kind of don't really want her to be in a club atmosphere because for me, that's going to come with a lot of drinking, a lot of late nights, and I really would like to see her do something more professional. But at the end of the day, whatever makes her happy, I'm here for it. And Mama B says, yes, she was crashing on his couch. Wow. Okay, got it. Mama Bees, you really pay attention to detail because you pick up on a lot of things that I don't pick up when watching these episodes. So I really love that about you. So, guys, that's going to do it for this recap. And guys, if you did not like the video on the way in, please like the video on your way out. And if you just happen to be catching the replay, please like the video and subscribe to my channel and drop down in the comments so that we can keep this conversation going. This was the grand finale. So that's 2 shows that's ended. So on Friday, I will be introducing a new show. So I will see you guys on tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Have a great rest of your day and bye for now.